Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success.
When you are the most afraid is when you should take the chance. If you're taking the chance on yourself, then I always say take it. Because people take the chance with other people all the time. You take a chance with a dude you don't know. I'm not sure. You take a chance with it. You know what I'm saying? You take a chance with it. And it's like when you have the opportunity to take a chance on yourself, you get scared. No, you should be the first person to take a chance with on yourself. Because if you win, you win.
Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome to episode 101 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And today our guest is Ursula Stephen. And on this episode, we're going to be talking all about why you have to take more chances on yourself and why you can't be scared to do so. And I think this is an important topic because I think a lot of times when we are calculating risk, when we're calculating our next steps, we're scared to just take that leap of faith. We're scared to do something if we don't necessarily know what will be the outcome. And Ursula shares her own story and shares how taking risk was really pivotal to her success. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about Ursula if you don't know who she is. She's a celebrity hairstylist who is best known as the visionary behind some of the superstar Rihanna's most iconic looks, including that signature bob. Her celebrity clients include Kerry Washington, Iggy Azalea, Mary J, Keyshia Cole, and more. She's worked with brands such as Vogue, ELLE, Rolling Stone, Gucci, you name it. And she also is owner of Ursula Stephen, the Salon in Brooklyn, New York. And on this, I had to say that, New York, right? And on this episode, she really just dives into how she discovered her passion for hairstyling, how she entered the celebrity clientele world, the risk that she's happy she took throughout her career, navigating the beauty industry, and more. Some of the things that I think you'll specifically enjoy about this episode is Ursula talking about how she nurtures relationships, but the most important relationship that she had to learn to nurture was the one that she had with herself, how she uses social media to keep her brand interesting, other areas of the beauty industry that she thinks a lot of people don't necessarily think about, but she really thinks that more women especially can explore. There's just a lot that we talk about in this episode that I think will be really, really interesting for those listening in. Please, please, please continue to share the episodes that you love, whether it be on Instagram or Instagram stories, whether you tweet about it, whether you write a Facebook post about it. People are sharing, and I am truly appreciating all the love that you guys are giving. Make sure you're following us on social if you want to share. We are Dreams and Drive, so tag us when you do. And you can also use the hashtag Dreams and Drive in your posts as well. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you enjoy hearing Ursula's story. Hi, Ursula. Thank you so much for being a guest on today's episode of Dreams and Drive.
Hi.
I'm really excited to chat with you. Like, you've been somebody, so I tell this to all my guests, but I have, like, on my phone, I have an album of just screenshots of people that I want to be on the show. So I was like, all right, I need to, like, actually email, figure out who your publicist is, and then get this happening. So I'm happy that we are here making this happen today.
Well, I'm happy too, because I've been seeing emails about this for a minute, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope this thing can happen, because all my schedule has been a little crazy in these last couple of weeks, so trying to schedule things has been very eventful for everyone that works on my schedule.
Well, that's why you got a team, right? So what I love to do to start the interviews is to kind of take it back. I think it's really fun to kind of think about and to reflect upon who we were as a child. So if I had to say, like, who was Ursula, the 7-year-old, what would you say? Who was inspiring you back then? Or what was inspiring you back then?
What inspired me back then?
Yeah, as a child. Mm-hmm.
As a child was really my mom. I just always thought that she was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. And I would see her every day looking amazing and just going to work. And even on the weekends when she would hang out with her friends or our family and go to family functions, she would get dressed up, and it would be like so amazing to just see her get ready. And all I always remember from my mom is her ring and her bracelet, because I always hear her bracelets dangling, or like if she knocked on the door, her ring, like she really liked jewelry and things like that. So I think my inspiration as a kid growing up was definitely my mom, and also my aunts and other women in my family, because they were definitely the type of women that definitely got their hair washed and set very every week.
Every week?
Every 2 weeks. They were definitely those women that were faithful to getting their hair done on a regular basis. So I've always been around that type of energy.
And you grew up in Brooklyn, right? Or in Brooklyn, right? In New York?
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, like kind of like Crown Heights, East Flatbush area.
Okay, and I was doing some research. So you are a fellow Caribbean sister. I'm Jamaican. You're Grenadian, right?
Yeah, so I was born here, but my whole family is Grenadian. So I'm a Caribbean American. My family is like, you're a Yankee, you're not a Caribbean.
Yeah, I was born here too, but I just say I'm Jamaican.
Yeah, exactly. All my American friends are like, you're not American. So it's like, I'm like Caribbean American.
But when you said you could always hear your mom's rings and her bangles, I'm thinking of, like, you know how you have your aunts who just love wearing their gold rings and their gold bracelets, and you just hear that dangling. So I definitely have that same memory of, being a child. So I know that you talk about this a lot, is that when you were younger, you kind of always knew you wanted to do hair. Like, how did you know that? Or like, what really got you into wanting to do hair?
I think, I don't know if I necessarily knew I wanted to do hair. I just knew I didn't want to do all of the above. So when it came to anything creative, when it was like dance, because obviously in like junior high school and things like that, I wasn't really doing hair, but we all were into our look, and how girls are in junior high school. Everybody's like, changing their look from what they looked like when they left the house to when they got to school. So you know how that goes. Everybody's always into their look and doing different things. But I just kind of just liked anything that was creative, and like I always say, dance and art and music, things like that always inspired me. And obviously, costume and makeup and glam and all those things were tied into that as well. So it just kind of inspired me in that way. I didn't necessarily know if I definitely wanted to do hair at that time. I just thought I wanted to do something that was creative.
Did you have a particular dream at that time beyond just wanting to do something creative? Was there like this high dream that you kind of were holding during those times? I
think the high dream that I had back then was to really just to find something that I was good at. I think that was really it. I just always wanted to find my thing. My brother was really good at, math, and he, went on to get like an accounting degree and mathematics and all those things. And he knew already. And I felt like even other people around me at that age knew what they wanted to do. And I really didn't know. I just knew I wanted to find something that I was really good at and that would make me really happy and smile. You know what I mean? So I think I looked at it more in that way.
So when you went to, what was the name of the high school you went to? Because you went to a high school that basically focused on beauty education. Was that the...
Yes. So I went to Sarah J. Hill, which was a vocational high school in the kind of like downtown Brooklyn area, kind of like in that Park Slope area, which now is right where Barclays is and all this amazing things happening in Brooklyn. So that's where I went. I went to Sarah J. Hill, and it was a vocational high school, and my major was cosmetology.
So during that time, did you see yourself possibly making cosmetology a career, or was it still just something that you liked doing, you were figuring it out? Like, what were you kind of feeling during your high school days?
I think it was all of those things that you mentioned. I kind of knew at that point in high school that this is something I could do, but I didn't really know the possibilities of it because I didn't know anyone I knew other hairstylists, but I didn't really know anyone that would do it, that was doing it to the level that would be acceptable to me. So I think I was also confused and just trying to figure it out. And I had really good teachers that believed in me and knew the business in a different way than I did. So they would always teach me and show me different ways. And, they were a big part of, or a big influence on the decisions that I made when it came to doing hair. So it was a little bit of everything, just really trying to figure it out, especially coming from, at that time, being a hairstylist wasn't necessarily looked upon as a career. Like I would tell people, that I ran into after junior high school and, tell them that I was doing hair or, I'm working at a salon. And for them, it was like, oh, really? For them, it really didn't impress them, at that time because it wasn't looked upon as a real career. So, it was just really a matter of me trying to figure it out as I went along.
how important do you think was having that foundation of, like, you know, going to cosmetology school? Because, you know, when you think about, like, let's say Instagram, right? Like, everybody now on Instagram says, you know, I'm a hairstylist, book me, but they don't actually have any training. Like, do you actually think that it's important to have that base foundation, especially if you're trying to build your career this way?
Absolutely. I'm so glad that I went ahead and went to school and got my license, because I'm the type of person, I never want to be counted out of anything. So it's like, thank God I went, because what if I would have I could be an amazing hairstylist and could do every hairstyle you throw at me. But let's just say I'm up for this gig, and it's kind of like, it's still a hairstyling gig, but I have to go through a certain type of corporate, you know, rigmaroles or whatever they want to call it. What if I didn't have a license? Then I could still be Ursula Stephen, but I wouldn't get to a certain level. And yeah, there are some opportunities in this business that, you know, you may not need a license, but it's always better to have it, because you can't really count me out. You know what I mean? Like, does she have a license? Yes. Does she have a driver's license? Yes. Does she have a passport? I have all of the above. So when it's time for me to have those opportunities, I won't be counted out. And I think that's what people have to realize. Like, it's all good to just, you know, be passionate about something, but you have to legitimize yourself at some point, so that people could take you seriously, you know, and know that you were really serious about it.
I love that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of times people just want to take the easy way out, right? They're like, oh, I could do hair, I could do this, I don't need to actually professionalize it. But then when you think about long term, like, you could do that short term, but a lot of people are so, what's the word, like, not like, they don't think about the future. Were you always thinking about the long term, like what could come next? Or was that something that you grew into as your career went on?
I think I'm always, in the back of my head, I've always thought about the long term, even as a young person. I think that's my characteristic, to always think about what's going to happen, you know, what's next, what's going to happen. Even when I was at the salon, I worked there for years, and you know, before I started getting a little, you know, tired of it, I really started to think, what's next? Like, okay, Ursula, you're doing this and you're doing great and you have a great clientele, but what's next? How long can you really physically do this? So yes, I'm always thinking about what's next. I think that's one of the most amazing parts about this career of mine, is that I always have the opportunity to reinvent myself.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back a little bit, because I think I was getting ahead of myself. So you graduated from high school, from the vocational school, and you just kind of went straight into building your clientele and working at a salon?
Well, I actually worked at a salon on the weekends and after school while I was in high school. So I already had a clientele. So even throughout my high school time, I had a clientele already. So when I graduated, it was no difference. I still was doing the same thing, because luckily I worked at salons that allowed me to work there while I was in school. So it kind of was like a mentorship type of feel. And I just kind of, after high school, I went to Brooklyn College just to satisfy my mom, because, you know, my mother's very Caribbean and very, you know, read your book. So, you know, she gave me that opportunity to you know, to go to high school and you know, learn cosmetology. But when it was time to go to college, she was like, okay, now you have to go to school. And I was like, all right. So I just figured, you know what, I'm just going to go out. I'll do it. It'll be fine. I'll just go and, you know, I'll just take business management, because that makes the most sense with being a hairstylist. You know, maybe I'll open a salon one day and let's just do it. No. It was horrible. I really did not like school, and it was just not my passion. Mm-hmm. I think if it was my passion, I would have done great, because that's my personality as well. If I want something, I'm going to do great at it, but it was just not my passion. So I just kind of like slept through my classes and, you know, spent the grant money and, you know.
Did you finish? Or did you?
No, I did not finish. Mid-semester, I got the opportunity to go on tour with Candy, and that was it. I was like, I'm out. I told my mother, I'm gone. And she was like, what do you mean? Where you going? I was like, Ma, I can't not do it. Like, you know what I mean? I've definitely believe in taking chances. I could not do it. I feel like school would have been there, you know.
You could always go back if you really want to.
I could always go back if I really wanted it. I felt like if I don't even really want to do it, why force me? So that's what I just took the initiative and was like, Ma, I got to go. And I left school. And that was it.
Do you think that she thought you were going to grow out of it? You know how Caribbean parents are sometimes, like, oh, this is just a phase. I'll just let her do it. But she's really going to go do it. She's going to do what I want her to do later down the road. Like, do you think that she was disappointed, or did you even not care?
Definitely didn't care.
Okay.
And I definitely don't feel like she was disappointed. I think she was just like, I wish I knew the word that could describe that emoji with the surprise. It's like, obviously it's a surprise face, but you know that face, I think that was just her feeling of just like, okay, is she going to be all right? So it definitely wasn't disappointment, but it was just a matter of her, you know, like a Caribbean mother would just be looking around like, all right, let me just observe and see.
Let's see what she going to do. You going to do
right,
it? All right.
Exactly. So just kind of like, you know, just observing me and giving me opportunities to be myself. And because I also worked at salons that had great women around me. So my mother would always, no matter what salon I worked at, my mother would definitely step her foot in there and get her hair washed. Like she was coming. So it was a matter of when she started to see people that I was around and saw it in a different world, in a different way, I think that she kind of was like, all right, well, let's see what she's going to do. So I think those people helped to give a little reassurance what I was doing.
So you said you had the opportunity to go on tour with Candy. Like, how did you get that? Because it's not like that was just some no name, you know, person from down the street like that. She has her own brand. Now is a very prominent woman. Like, how did that opportunity come about?
Well, by that point, like I said, I was working in the salon after school and on the weekends, and I was also, you know, meeting amazing people that came into the salon. A lot of people that, you know, worked at labels were my clientele. So my name started to get passed around in the industry. So I got different opportunities with different artists. At the time, you know, they were new artists. So it was still, it was still risky because they're artists, but they were still new artists. So we're all building. You have new hairstylists. You always have new hairstylists coming in the game, new makeup artists, and, you know, new artists. So you pair people up. So I think that's how my opportunity came. Just, you know, just being at the right pace, being at the right place at the right time.
What's the biggest lesson you think you learned during that time working with Candy on tour?
That it's not that bad, Ursula.
What do you mean by that?
I think that because I remember the first night that I got on tour. The first night I got on tour, the tour was set to be for 6 weeks. It was in the wintertime, and it was set for 6 weeks, like around November. And the first day I got on tour, I just froze up and just was like, oh my God, did I really do this? And like I remember everybody, you know, try to welcome me and, you know, show me my bunk and things like that. And do you want this? Do you want that? I was like, you know, I'm kind of tired. I'm just gonna go, you know, take a nap. And it's like, you sure it's so early? I was like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. And I remember going to my bunk and bawling my eyes out, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna see my friends. I'm not gonna do this. Oh my God, I'm gonna wait for 6 weeks. So now looking back, I'm like, girl, 6 weeks ain't nothing, girl. You fine. Your friends gonna be there. Your family gonna be there. Everything gonna be there. You gonna be fine. And it's like when you think about it, it was 6 weeks out of a lifetime is really nothing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was just scared and nervous. So I think I have a lot of advice, trust me, to give my younger self. But I think that just sticks out because even now when I travel a lot, I'm always away and missing things and doing this and doing that. I have to remember, like, girl, you'll be all right. And I always come back and people are like, oh my God, you were away? Oh, great. That was cool. Like, so you miss things, but then it's like, it's not that serious. Everybody's out here building their careers and you're not meant to be around for every celebration, every gathering. So I just remember that it's going to be all right, girl. Go make your money and build your career and do what you got to do because that's what everybody else is doing.
What was one opportunity that came directly from you going on that tour? Like, the kind of like what was the next domino in the domino effect? Like, what happened next after that?
I just think it just really opened me up and just really let me see the industry another way. Because at that time I had been doing artists, but just really going on set and doing like quick photo shoots or, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Little things, and tour was just a different life. It just showed how people have to really be, have to be a team on the road and just being open to meeting different people and building relationships and knowing that the other interesting part about the industry, that this music industry is that it's like the United Colors of Benetton. And I think that could be one of the things that sticks out for me is that I love the fact that I have so many different friends from different cultures and backgrounds and races, and we actually all are together because we have love for this one passion, the music industry and all the aspects that come with it. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that. I've met so many walks of people in my world. Like you never know who I know. I like that.
Who's one, person be thinking about someone that you built a relationship with? Who was one person that you think was very instrumental during your early years? So you're very happy that you had this person as part of your network?
I would think if I want to go all the way back, I would definitely say my cosmetology teacher, Miss Thomas. And I have two of them, but there's Miss Thomas and Miss Torres. But Miss Thomas definitely, she was like my fairy godmother in my career, period, point blank. Like, mama, as much as supportive my mother was and still is, she doesn't really know the business. She's not a hairstylist. You know what I mean? She doesn't know. So thank God for Miss Thomas that she was around to kind of reassure my mom that I'm good. Like, she's good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So she's definitely a big part of it. And me and her are still really good friends. And a lot of people are not close to like their teachers or their high school teachers, but I was blessed to have a really good teacher that was, really supportive.
Let's maybe give our listeners the timeline. So when did you start? What year was it that you, let's say, started? You would say you were making it, or you were on the beginning of the journey before we hit the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? Like where did all this start, or when did all of this start for you?
Yeah, I guess it kind of started when I was doing Keyshia Cole, I think.
Mm-hmm. What year was that?
I don't even know. Oh my God, what year was I doing Keyshia Cole? I really don't remember.
Okay.
I remember I started working with Keyshia. I got introduced to her through a record a record label exec that worked at, I forgot, Interscope or something, and she's like, I think you would be good with Keyshia. And I did Keyshia for a fanzine shoot, and then I don't know what happened. I think her project got shelved, and then she disappeared, and then she came back out, and he reached out to me again, and then we started working together. And she was one of my first, when I say artists, obviously Candy was one of my first ones, and I had a few others, but she was my first artist that I worked with from start to finish, meaning I did her whole album, meaning I did, the videos, the album cover, the everything in between. It's a whole run when you're working with the artist and they drop an album. It's a whole run. And she's one of my first artists that I did that with. So I would definitely say Keyshia Cole was one of the first ones where it really was oh shit, this is what's happening.
Did you feel like this is where you belonged? Were you oh, I could do this? This is for me? Or did you still have hesitations about continuing down the celebrity hairstyling route?
I still had a few doubts because it was a different world. I was coming from working at the salon where I was on different heads every 2 hours and creating looks every 2 minutes and, getting paid on the spot. And when you do freelance, you don't. You have to wait for a check. So it was I did have a lot of major doubts when I was transitioning into it because I was losing my clientele. And then I was getting the celebrity clientele, but it was so different because I wasn't making the money right away. I couldn't see that bigger picture because I was so new to it. Mm-hmm. So I think that put a few doubts. And I remember telling my agent, I don't think I could do this shit. I can't. I need money. I just can't do it. And then one day it all just turned around. It just started to just roll in, and it just made sense from there. And I remember saying to myself too, Urs, come on, you gave the salon X amount of years, and that's how you saw those big results. So now you got to do the same for this part of your career. You just got to chill and put that time in and wait for that turnaround. And it really worked, and it just started to happen.
You know what? And that's something I feel a lot of us listening in, we all are doing our own hustles, right? Even with this podcast, I'm 1.5 years into it, and I could have given up 3 months, 3 months in, but I think a lot of people have to realize that it depends on how bad you want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's just something that you're doing as a hobby, all right, you could quit, go find a new hobby. But if you know deep down inside that it's something that you, as you said, you have that long-term vision, you can't just give up on yourself, right?
Yeah, you can't. You have to stay focused because it's so true. When you see that quote that says it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, it's really true. Everything that is happening now, the seeds have been planted years ago. This is nothing new. That's why when I see people trying to rush the process, it's like, damn, like I feel bad for you because you don't even get it. Like it doesn't really happen like that. Just doesn't.
Nope, it does not. Listen, I'm planting my seeds, girl. I have my gardener tools, everything. But anyway. Yeah. So, one of the things that you talked about relationships, and I think that's something that a lot of us, it's so important, whatever industry you're in, what's something that you do even like now to make sure that you're constantly building and nurturing your relationships?
I don't know if I have a special tactic to nurture. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like sitting at home trying to figure out how to nurture. I think I just like to keep genuine people around me, and if I genuinely like you, and we have something in common, I'm gonna want to be around you. So I just feel like I also try to give what I expect from people: good energy, motivation, inspiration. So if I feel like I'm getting that from people, I'm automatically just gonna want to be around you and keep you around. I think that's how it goes with my clientele too. If people like you and like your energy, they're gonna keep you around. You don't have to do a song and dance. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not really that serious. It's just a matter of being yourself and doing what's true to you, and those people will follow and stick to you, and that's it. And if you're not with the bad energy and you're not with the bullshit, those people who are giving that, they won't even fuck with you because they just know that you can see right through them. So for me, I'm just really trying to always be myself and be true to myself and just be happy in my own personal life and my own personal space before I come around other people, because then, you know what I'm saying? That's what you give off. So I think it starts with yourself. That's how I'm nurturing that's my answer. That's how I'm nurturing my relationships. Making sure that I'm great.
Have you heard of The Rap Life?
Yes.
Like, okay, yeah.
I heard of it.
I interviewed Nana Stella of The Rap Life, and she was just talking about how she did not start being successful until she really worked on herself. And a lot of us, sometimes we may want something, but like if you are carrying around baggage, if you are like just this big heavy load, you won't be able to go to where you're trying to go. So I love that you mentioned that. Absolutely.
I know a lot of clients, like people, I have even peers in the industry that I'm just looking at them like, girl, like, just chill. Like, you say you happy, but you're not. Like you don't have, when you're happy, you don't gotta say it. Like, just chill. I am definitely a firm believer in self-care. Yeah. You have to be happy with yourself, happy from within, and that energy exudes, and then people will want to be around you and want to have conversations with you and, build with you and things like that.
So one of the things you mentioned when we were talking about Keyshia Cole, you said like that's when like the madness started, right? Like that's when everything started to pick up. So after Keyshia Cole, what were some of like the big like other names that you were working with?
After Keyshia Cole, then I think one of the biggest names came was Rihanna, for sure. Because I remember transitioning from doing Keyshia Cole. Yeah, exactly. That's how it happened. I was doing Keyshia Cole for a lot and for mostly everything, and then I got with I think I was with my agency before. I got with my agency before I got with Rihanna, but soon after I got with my agency is when my agent said, "Listen, I need you to do Rihanna." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And at that point, the two people that I was doing was Keyshia Cole and Rihanna, and then Rihanna got so busy. And, it started to pull me away from Keyshia a little bit. At the time, when you work with artists, they have a busy time and a slow time. And, when they drop in their album and they're working on the album and new music is out, that's their busy time because they're doing all the, videos and shows and things like that. But then they have a moment when they actually go on tour. So for an artist, it could be slow for me because if I'm not doing tours, then I'm not working with you in that, if you did a summer tour for 2 months, then I'm not with you for 2 months. So then I pick up working with someone else. So that's kind of how it worked out with Keyshia Cole and Rihanna. It was like a pass the baton type of thing. So then I started working with Rihanna, and then she got so busy that I just couldn't even say yes to anyone else for a very long time because it was that busy. And we just had a good vibe and flow going with, her look. So it was just me doing everything.
I know, because you definitely in the Myleik Till podcast, you mentioned like the story behind the iconic bob cut. Before we get to that though, because like this podcast really focuses on like the entrepreneurship side. You've been talking about having an agency and having an agent. When did you decide that you needed to work with an agent and an agency, or why, I should say?
Well, let me just start by saying when I started to think about the business of hair, it started to make me afraid because I never wanted to anything to take away my passion for what I did. But it was important that I definitely got one, because it, like I said, shit started to get real. And I remember when I got my agent, it was very hard because she didn't really know me. She didn't know my work. I didn't have much clients at the time. So she kind of took a chance with me, and it was great. But I have no problem with having an agent. I think an agent is important to you if it's important to you. Everyone knows what's great for you. Even when let's break it down and think about a hairstylist. They have some hairstylists that like to do booth rental and some stylists that like to do commission work. It's not to say that commission is bad or rental is bad. It's all about what type of stylist you are. If you're a super independent stylist and you want to control everything that you have going on, and you may want to work 2 days a week and you want to be in and out and whatever it is, then maybe booth rental might be for you. But if you're someone that craves a certain type of stability and structure in this crazy industry that is not necessarily structured, then booth rental is for you. So it's still it's the same as when you have an agent. If you want an agent and you want the structure, that's fine. Or you may be a renegade and feel like, I don't need no agent. God is my agent, and that's fine too. So I just think it's a matter of preference and a matter of what you want out of your career. And that doesn't mean if you have an agent now that you're going to forever have an agent. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? There's levels to everything. At a certain point in your career, you may need an agent, and then you may get to a certain level where you don't need an agent because you might have been doing this shit for like 40 years. And everybody knows your name, so you don't really need somebody selling you anymore. You may be known. So if people want to call X, Y, and Z, they're going to just call X, Y, and Z because X, Y, and Z is already a brand and doesn't need that type of, they already accept their career. But if you're not really anyone in the business yet and you're still trying to create a name for yourself and create a presence, you may need someone speaking for you and selling you and talking about you that can actually validate you. So it's a preference thing when it comes to the agent thing. And I don't have a problem with having an agent.
Do you think you'll always have an agent?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I'll always have an agent, but I definitely feel like I'll always have somebody working with me when it comes to that. Because there's no way in the world that I can be a creative person and still be sitting behind a computer. Like, okay, like it may be possible, but I don't see myself doing that right now. But like I said, right now I'm just super busy. Maybe when in a few years, I may feel like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. I'm going to change this and change that. And I just want one person that handles me, and that's it. And that's fine. But right now, I'm good with having an agent.
And I like how you also mentioned it's kind of like delegating, right? You can't be scared to delegate, especially if you're trying to grow, because a lot of small business owners, a lot of new entrepreneurs, they try to do everything themselves and they get nowhere, right?
Girl, you can't. And that's my whole point. It's like people look at an agent, but it's like it's someone taking a strain off of you that no matter, even if it wasn't an agent, it will still have to, whatever you want to give that title, whatever you want to, call that title, you're still going to have somebody to help you, because like you said, you can't people want to do everything. That's just not physically possible for you to do everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you think of all these heads of companies, they're not doing everything themselves. They're delegating. You have to get to a point in your career where you have to let certain things go. And I'll never forget, I went to the hair show this year, and I think was it Nick Arojo? I think he was doing platform work at the IBS show, and he said, for my whole career, he said, I've done all the crazy hair and the cuts and everything. He said, but now at this point in my career, I have done everything, and now I'm stepping back to let my clients, let my stylists flourish and be behind them and have and design a great structure for them. He's giving, you know what I'm saying? So now he's like, I did all that. I did everything that these kids are doing. I did all that. But now the position that I am in at this point in my career is the boss. And I'm here to make sure things are going the right way. And now my stylists are creating. That doesn't mean he can't create. He doesn't know how. The time doesn't allow for that, because now he's a boss. So I think that people have to learn how to accept certain levels of their career. Some people want to grab and still be in spotlights and still do certain things. You have to just learn how to accept things and move up.
Yep, it's like the evolution. Like if you think about Oprah, like she started out being the reporter. She started out with her own show, but now she's like the network owner and she's helping other shows like Queen Sugar, putting the money behind, but she's still the face of the brand. But
when she was a reporter, she was doing her research, and then when her position changed, she had other people doing the research for her and bring her the news. But trust and believe that those people doing the research on that team was solid. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Solid that she could trust them enough to say, if my team researched it and said it, this is what it is. And that's what it's all about, building a team and climbing the ladder. Mm-hmm. You can't want to be down and still be up. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be two places at one time.
So we're going to step away from the interview for a little bit because I want to take some time to talk about something. And this is going to be a new segment called Dream Driver Tip of the Week. So the tip for the week is leverage milestones on your dream driving journey as marketing opportunities. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I made a big hoopla about episode 100 just because it was episode 100. There was also a strategic reason why I did that. So I think on one of the previous episodes, I was talking about how you don't necessarily have to just stick with the anniversaries that are known, right? And I know I said that, but honestly, I still was going to do something for episode 100 no matter what it was, because it's a milestone that people psychologically like to celebrate, right? Those core numbers, 25, 50, 100, right? I had to do something for the 100th episode that people would notice and people would feel like they had to celebrate. Because if I said, oh, it's my 102nd episode, it would be cool, but I wouldn't necessarily tap into people's innate want and desire to congratulate someone or meeting a milestone that is just socially acceptable and socially shared, right? So for me, I wanted to make the 100th episode something that people could visually remember, which is why I decided to do that small photo shoot with the 100 balloons. And I had that little cute outfit, right? When I posted that photo, people automatically saw it, people automatically engaged with it, and people were just like, congratulations, because 100 is something they visually saw and something that within our society people celebrate. So I was able to share things on Facebook groups specifically and get a lot of traction. So I would say, hey guys, it's my 100th episode, please check it out. I included the picture with the post because of course that's something visual as well, and people wanted to learn more. They wanted to congratulate, they wanted to say, oh, thank you, I'm trying to aspire to this as well. So you have to think about the psychology behind the marketing and how you can leverage certain steps in your business to really gain eyes on your brand and to get more people talking about and sharing what you want them to share and talk about. So think about what are some milestones in your own brand that you can celebrate and get that social backing. Now, I think it could be, let's say you reach 5,000 downloads in your podcast. Celebrate that, right? Let's say it's you got 100 subscribers on your email list. Celebrate that. But definitely tap into psychology. Think about how you can get into the minds of people. People love saying congratulations on things that other people are saying congratulations on. So find something for people to congratulate you on and celebrate that ish. And with that, I think a good book that I would recommend for you guys is Guerrilla Marketing Remix. I shared this on Instagram stories this week. It's by J. Conrad Levinson. And that was a book that was pivotal to me really thinking about guerrilla marketing tactics to really promote and to grow one's business. That's a great book. It's Guerrilla Marketing Remix by J. Conrad Levinson. All right, so let's get back to the episode with Ursula. Thinking about your own evolution of your personal brand, like what do you think were some key things that you did at different stages to make sure that people know who Ursula is and you were building as you were, getting new clientele and so on?
To get to the next amazing goal, because they're so excited about it. They couldn't believe that they made that one goal, that they stick there and they don't figure out what's next and what's next and reinventing themselves. So my point in saying that is when I did Rihanna and everybody went crazy over the bob, I didn't stay on that bob and just let that be my whole shit. Like, I'm not now in 2017 still talking about a Rihanna bob. It's still great and I did it and I know it's amazing, but I didn't let myself get wrapped up in that hype of just the bob. I looked at what else could I do now? How else could I move forward and still continue to brand my name and solidify my name in the industry. So I think people need to learn how to enjoy the accolades, but also learn how to move forward and learn how to turn those accolades into bigger accolades.
You know what? I'm so happy you mentioned that, because one of the things that, as I was preparing for this interview, I was like, I could really just spend this whole interview asking about Rihanna's hair, right? But that's what is that going to do, right? You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, it's like, okay, you did Rihanna's hair, you had this iconic bob cut, but that's not who you are, right? Like, I sometimes wonder.
I mean, it's part of my portfolio. Yeah. Yes, it's amazing accolade. It's something to talk about. But there's other things too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's more to come. You know what I mean?
Like, let's say you were like Susie, and Susie was like the next Beyonce, whatever, right? You're Susie's hairstylist, and you worked with her for, let's say, 10 years. Do you think that working with an artist for a long time then makes people see you as, not Ursula, the artist, but Ursula, Susie's hairstylist? Like, is there something in that people should be wary of?
I mean, it's not, it's, I don't know if it's something to be wary of. I just think that it's something that happens. It's something that naturally happens. It is. Mm-hmm. That for a long time, people would say, oh, this is Rihanna's hairstylist. And I'm like, hello, my name is Ursula. And I didn't like that, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I do her, but I'm also a stylist that's been doing hair a long time, and I have a lot of other clients too. So I don't think it's something wary. I just think it's something that happens. And it's not a bad thing, especially if you're pinned to someone amazing like Rihanna. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's fine. It is what it is. It's like you have artists that make amazing music, but that one song they did, that's what you love about them, which is fine. But I think that it's up to the individual to decide what they want the world to know and what are the other things you want the world to talk about. That's on you, because the world's gonna do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it's nothing wrong as long as you're pinned to something amazing and great. That's fine, and it's just something that is going to happen. It's just going to happen.
So we have a listener question. I think this is a good one to ask you right now. This is from Barry of Podcast in Color. And she was really, cause she's really into podcasts, and she was really, really amazed. Like, when you did the Myleik interview, how you had the audiogram up there, how you were using the hashtags and all the social media promotion. So she was like, her question is, how did you become really good at social media, or how do you know, how to promote yourself on social media? Like, what are some of the key things that you do on social to make sure that you're keeping your brand interesting? I think I'm sure a lot of people will agree that we're all still trying to figure this social media shit out. You know what I'm saying? We trying to figure out the social media shit out and just really trying to figure out what works. And it's like that. I think you start off, if you're somebody that comes from the era of right before Instagram and all the social media, you kind of feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. So you kind of like 50-50, or you love it and you kind of like hate it. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just feel like I put out. People are always saying things like, oh, you're going to put, the Instagram is this, Instagram is that. But at the same time, if you think about the plus side of Instagram and social media, it is your way to control how people think and feel about you. So with knowing that, I know there's certain things I don't want people to think about me, and it's not a matter of me giving a damn about what other people say about me, but I am known in my industry. So just following the guidelines of what I want people to know and love me is how I decide what I want to put on Instagram. If I don't want you to think I'm a hoochie, I'm not going to do no hoochie. I mean, I still want you to know that I'm popping and I'm cute and I'm sexy. So I put a few little, one or two, sexy pictures up, of course, you know what I mean? To show your personality. But I think you just have to really figure out what you want the world to know about you. Mm-hmm. What do you want the world to know about you? What do you want the world to say about you? What do you want people to speak about you? You have to think about that, and you use that as a guideline to what you post. And if you're selling something, then sell it and do it in an attractive way. And that's it. How did you come up with the hashtag Ursi on hair?
One of my friends she became my friend, but we used to work together. She actually, when we were like getting into social media, it just something that just came naturally to us, and it just like, that's it. Cause obviously everybody's doing the hashtag thing. And she was like, you need a hashtag. And it just kind of came out. Ursula, I guess. I don't know. I have to think more about the solid answer to that question, but just things that kind of birthed.
So I can't like not talk to you and then not ask you about your step into, well, I don't want to say like freelancing is still being an entrepreneur, but like your step into owning a salon, right? The story was, from what I hear, is you had the opportunity to go on tour with Rihanna for 11 months, right? And you kind of realized that that's not the next step that you wanted to take. And you met with like a friend, introduced you to a spot that you could get, and all that stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
So you have your salon, right? And you're in, let's say, you go in there, it's the empty salon. What was that feeling like when you walked in and you were like, this is mine to create something?
I was just cheesing when I walked in, because I was like, what? I was like, this is cute, but I was like, it's small, but it's cute. And I literally was just cheesing and just looking around like, cause I was like, this is it. It's cute. Cause I always said that I wanted to, if I open a salon, I don't want it to be a big 20-chair salon. I want it to be a cute little boutique salon. And that's literally why in these last couple of weeks, I've been keeping my mouth pretty shut, because literally when I say things, it really happens. So I'm like being very careful on what I want to do next, because I literally said, if I open a salon, it has to be a cute little boutique salon. And that's exactly what God blessed me with. So I just saw it and I just knew that it was right. And I was like, I'll take it. And I didn't think about it. I didn't ponder. I was like, all right, I'll take it. And I think when I make moves like that, it's usually the best time to make decisions, because it's just like, it just felt right. I don't know. I have no other story about it. It's just that I walked in and it was a spot that I walked past before. And I was like, oh my God, this spot is cute. She should give me this spot. And a year later, I'm walking in. How could you not say yes? I don't understand people who get opportunities like that and don't say yes. Because I know people that would have gotten there and like, oh, no, I didn't take it. No, it made the most sense. Like, I spoke about it. I saw it before. I walked in. It was right. Like, I had to say yes.
What do you say to people who have a hard time saying yes when opportunities come across? Because I mean, like myself, like I'm somebody who's very risk averse, right? So I would have probably like tried to make a pro and con list. I probably would have consulted 20 people, right? Like, and that hurts people sometimes. It's not just jumping for opportunity. So like, what advice would you give to somebody who's really struggling with, knowing when the opportunity is right and when to jump?
Wow. I feel like when you are the most afraid is when you should take the chance. That's it. When you have a little sprinkle, like, take the chance. I just feel like, and also if you're taking the chance on yourself, then I always say take it, because people take the chance with other people all the time. You take a chance with a dude you don't know. I'm not sure. You take a chance with it. You know what I'm saying? You take a chance with it, and it's like when you have the opportunity to take a chance on yourself, you get scared. No, you should be the first person to take a chance with on yourself, because if you win, you win. You the winner. Like, and I feel like there's no way that you're not going to starve in America. Like, I don't care nobody tells you. You ain't going to starve in America. It's just not going to happen. If you take an opportunity and it don't work, there's so much things out here to help you get back on. You're going to be good. You're going to be good. And anything you put time and energy into, you have to see results. Period, point blank.
What was the biggest challenge that you faced as you were building as you were getting the salon up and running, or even that you're currently facing with the salon now?
I think just not being able to be there as much. And even when I was building it, I had to run out and depend on other people. And I think that's now that when people keep asking me, I'm learning that the answer to that question is being comfortable to delegate. And when you're a person like me, I'm not super control freak, but I do like things done the way I want it to be done and execute. You know what I mean? Like I want to be so hands-on. And I think when you think about being a boss and being a owner, an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to delegate. That's just what it is. You can't do everything. It's not physically possible. So I think one of my biggest lessons that I've been learning and I'm still learning is the art of delegation.
I wanted to ask you, like, what's something personal that you think you have really, like, what's a personal shift that you've gone through over these years being in the business? Do you think it's that delegation, or it might be something else as well?
I think that's what it is. I think delegation, it was very hard for me. to know that I have to have other people doing things. Like even with being on set in my freelance world, like I really don't work with assistants. I have assistants every once in a while, but everybody is still surprised that at this level of my career that I come on set with not one assistant and I do everything myself. So I think I'm learning. So even now I have to learn, like, Ursula, you got to bring an assistant. They're like, Ursula, you need an assistant for this job. So it's like I'm learning the art of delegation and learning how to let people do things and allowing them to do things. And I think it's a great lesson that I'm learning. I need it because if I'm planning on, doing other things and, having more responsibility, I need to be able to have people that I trust and be able to let them do things.
For people that like are trying to get into this industry, right? Like, and I'm just saying this because I'm always on Instagram and I have a lot of friends who are like, want to be makeup artists, want to be hairstylists. Do you think that there's another part of this beauty hair industry that people could get into that they're not thinking about? Like, I feel like what are some of the trends or the industries that you think we need to see more people like us in?
I just think, period, there's so much more to the beauty world than just being a celebrity hairstylist. I just think that the career has just become a little popularized because of social media and things like that. But girls, listen to me. There are so many different outlets in the beauty world. Do not be closed-minded. They have a lot of people that are in the beauty world that's making more money than celebrity hairstylists. So I would love for girls to be a little bit more open and think about it. Everyone needs their hair done.
Yep.
So when you sit back and think about all the people that need their hair done, you would so not be caught up on just celebrity. You would be thinking about it. You have the IBS hair shows. You have brands that are the corporate side of things where you could be on a team and help with product development. You know what I mean? And I know for sure, like when I go to have meetings, to talk about product development and things like that, there are not really that many hairstylists on there. There are people who are really corporate people on there. You know what I mean? So how amazing would it be if you are a cosmetologist and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go work for Unilever and sit in the offices and help them develop products, for the everyday woman. You would have a up on those people because you actually know about hair. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I just would love for people to be a little bit more open on the different areas in the beauty world.
And I was even thinking, like, let's say you were a cosmetologist, but then you wanted to go into like products, right? And you wanted to do like engineering and make different hair tools. You could start your own hair tool company. Like, how many brown girls are out here, owning the tools that we're using and all that
exactly.
stuff?
Yeah, there's so many different ways to get in, and I just think that's why this industry is so great. That's why it's always making money, because there's so many different outlets in the beauty world.
Is there something, though, that you may not particularly like about the industry that you wish you could change?
I mean, I guess with anything, just a little bit more diversity. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the industry. I think the industry is amazing. I don't think there's a whole bunch more I would change. I think it's an industry that's always gotten better. So it's not much I would change. And when I say diversity, it's just diversity in certain areas, because I do feel like the industry on a whole, the beauty industry, is definitely a diverse industry. Like, there's so many people that are passionate about doing hair and making people feel amazing that. I could meet someone and not even talk the same language as them, and just because they're a hairstylist, we're good. You know what I mean? So I love my industry. I think it's great.
I want to ask this question coming from, like, being a woman and working in media. And I think media and hair, like, it intersects a little bit. But, like, I've had experiences where, I'm not going to say any names, but someone in media, right? Let's say this guy, he's working at this media company and he's like, hey, I'll put you on if you do this, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, wait, there should be no, like, stipulations to you introducing me to someone. Like, how do you navigate, or how would you recommend someone who's a woman navigating this, working with different industry people who may sometimes have their own agendas in mind when they're trying to help you out? And I put that in quotes.
I remember when I first was getting into the industry, I was young in the game, and I used to party, I used to do hair. That's all I did. I used to just party, do hair, and that was it, honey. Hang out with my friends, and that was it. And I remember thinking when I was kind of like had my little taste of getting into the industry, and I used to party a lot with, a lot of people that I worked with, and, hair people, and, makeup people and all that. And just be on the scene, you know what I mean? At every club or artist and hanging in the VIP section, all that stuff. And I used to really think that I had to go out every Wednesday. I had to go out on Mondays and Wednesdays because I want to meet other people in the industry because that's how I'm going to get these jobs. And then one day I looked around and was like, hold up. After like seeing both sides of it, like, kind of partying and hanging with people and then kind of being on set and being with people who are actually on set and they're at 9 a.m. on set and setting up. And I started thinking, I was like, oh my God, I was like, Ursula, the people who are signing checks, they not in the clubs. They not out partying, child. They sleep. So my point in saying that is like, it goes back to all what you want. Yes, in any industry you're in, there's always going to be somebody that's willing to side table something or under table something or say, I can get you this if you do that. And you know what kind of person that is. And if that's what you want, and the direction you want to go in, that's fine. But there's also the legit way to do things and the upfront way to do things. And you just have to figure out what type of person you want to associate yourself with. You know what I mean? You're always going to get the opportunity. Even if you work at McDonald's, you're going to have somebody that's going to solicit you. You know what I'm saying? You work at an advertising company, there's always going to be somebody that's going to solicit you. But you have to be able to differentiate what's real and what's not.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. Nobody can tell you certain things. Some things are instinctual. There's no handbook for some of these things. You just have to know your character and know how to start reading people. And this industry can be very shady. Very, very shady. And you just gotta know, how you want to get up that ladder. Everybody got the ladder in front of them. You just gotta figure out how you gonna get up that ladder.
I love that.
You gotta figure out how you want to climb this ladder.
Yeah. And remember that there are people, I tell myself, I say screenshots are real in 2017, right? Don't ever put yourself in any compromising situation.
Girl, I'm trying to tell you, that's how people be mad, like, oh, this, and everybody, it's this whole battle between, like the hairstylists and makeup artists that got into this industry before, like social media, and the ones that got into it now. I'm saying, listen, y'all could keep that. I'm glad I got into it the way I got into it, because the shit that I done seen, the shit I seen, the shit that I've been through, like these new people, y'all actually protected by social media. Okay, so I'm happy for y'all that y'all didn't have to go through what we went through, because it's like social media is real. Like you said, screenshots, people talking, like everything is out in the open now. So I'm very grateful for the time that I entered into the industry. It was a great lesson learned for me. So, and I feel like I have both. I have a little bit of that and I have a sprinkle of this. So together, that's amazing.
So I have some listener questions, because I feel like some people would be mad if I did not ask you these questions. And so we're going to just go. These are more fun. Okay. So, this one is coming from Shelly, and she just wants to know, like, what celebrity hairstyle, or what do you think is going to be the hairstyle for the rest of summer 2017 and into the fall? Is there something that you see people doing a lot, that you're doing on your clients, a trend?
Oh, that question, Lord Jesus, that question.
It's my cousin, so I had to ask it.
I think that to answer that question, I would say that where we are now in the beauty world at 2017, I feel like we're all pretty much doing what we've been doing, but we're just doing it so much better now and taking a lot more risks. So, it's nothing really new. Like, it's still pixie haircuts. You know what I mean? Everybody goes short except for the summer, or everybody does braid. You know what I'm saying? People are doing, I just think that people are a little bit more risky and just having a little bit more fun. And with the technology that the industry has given us now, and how far we have come in the industry, things are just looking so much better now. You know what I mean? And looks better and more appealing, If you think of where weaves have come from back then till now, we're doing amazingly. So I think as far as trend wise, it's just going to be more of, super long inches like Nikki's been doing, super long braids, a lot of natural stuff. People are still having faux natural hair because people are still discovering their texture and understanding their natural hair. So I think it's going to be a lot more natural hair happening, and just a lot more versatile, or a lot more versatility when it comes to styling. A lot of girls are not relaxing anymore. That's giving the girls a lot more versatility. So I think it's just a matter of having fun and doing it the right way now.
If you weren't doing hair, what would you be doing?
That answer changes every couple of years. But I don't know. I think that a part of me feels like I would be in the industry still some way, somehow. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I would do, but I would be in the business some way, somehow. I love music. I don't know if I would have been an artist though. Maybe I would have been an artist.
Can you sing? Can you dance?
I cannot sing at all. That's exactly why I'm not an artist. Maybe a comedian. I don't know. I like to make people laugh. I like to have fun. Maybe if it was going to be something serious, maybe a social worker.
That's not the industry. That's like
I'm thinking like, if I had to place myself in different fields, like if it was something more like that, it would probably be like a social worker or something. I don't know. I just like I definitely think ultimately I would be in the entertainment world some way, somehow. Mm-hmm. Like I would be, whatever job it is, I have to get cute for it. Okay.
You know what? Let me make sure to ask you that too is, I think cause I follow you in social media. I love your branding, but something that I think a lot of people in this industry sometimes take for granted is the importance of having like your personal style and really paying attention to how you present yourself. Mm-hmm. How has investing in how you present yourself to the world, why has that been important to you? Or why do you think that's important for anyone building a brand? Or is it important? I don't want to say that it has to be important.
I know. I was kind of thinking like, is it important? I mean, I think it's important if it's important to you. Mm-hmm. If it's important to you, then it's important. But I do feel like your look says who you are. It represents who you are. So me personally, I don't do it for anyone else. I do it because I actually love fashion. I love every aspect of glam. I love hair, fashion, makeup, everything, clothes, shopping. When I'm on set, I'm always like talking to the stylist. Like I love my industry, and I think not more than that. I love the industry. I love those things, and I think that's why it's easy for me to be in my industry. So I just naturally love that, And I feel like I'm a hairstylist. Like there's no reason why I should be cute and look good. My hair should be done. Like this is my industry. I'm representing it. If someone's a doctor, they walk around in scrubs all day. So if I'm a hairstylist, I should walk around with my hair done, and I should play the part. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important. If it is important, it's important because your client sees that and feeds off that energy. You know what I mean? You can how are you going to do amazing one of the biggest pop stars in the world and you look scruffy? Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't add up. Like it's a whole movement. It's like art imitating life. Yeah. So for me, I just feel like everybody feeds off of that energy. I'm here with you because this is what I do. You know what I mean? She's your stylist because look at her. You know what I mean? So it's important. You represent what you do and represent who you are, so people can understand understand who you are without even opening your mouth. Yeah. That's it.
So that was a great way for us to segue into our lightning round. So at this part of the interview, Ursula, I'm going to give you a prompt and I want you to tell me the first word that comes to mind. And remember, this is going to be sticking with our whole like dreams and drive metaphor. So this is going to be like the gear shifts in a car. Okay. So just tell me the first word that comes to mind. So the first word is park.
Damn, I'm here.
I haven't heard that one before. Okay. Reverse.
No, never. Not going backwards.
Neutral.
Sometimes to get my mind right into recharge.
Drive.
Fast, baby. Let's go.
Oh. and if you want to be a dream driver, you have to have your keys to success. So tell me 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit before they hit the road.
Before you hit the road, if you're a dream driver, I think faith, consistency, and I'm stuck. Faith, consistency, and passion. Mm. Passion.
Which one of those, out of faith, consistency, and passion, which one of those you think were the most important on your own journey?
Passion.
Why?
Because if I didn't want it as bad, then I wouldn't have gotten it. Nobody else would have been able to tell that I wanted that bad. They wouldn't have helped me. So.
And you would have to hear your Caribbean mother, right? Like, I told you.
Right. I would have loved faith to be it because I'm old. I feel like faith is a big deal, but I feel like you got to have that passion first. And then it's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. And what keeps you going? Like on those days, I know like it's not always sunshine and marshmallows, right? Like there's some rainy days, but like what's that thing that just keeps you going on those times when you just kind of want to be like, listen, I'm about to just retire to an island or something?
I think the fact that I'm still curious. I'm still curious. I still want to know how. I still want to see if I could do that thing on her or do it on her differently and make it, you know what I mean? I have that the curiousness in me still to want to work with new people and to want to do new things and to also learn another way of doing it, So I think I'm still curious.
Do you still like go to like different workshops and like do you ever like how do you as a hairstylist make sure you keep up with like what's new, what's changing? Like is there certain things that you do?
Well, I definitely try to make it to a hair show at least once a year. I usually go to the IBS, but my schedule is so hard for me to make it to certain things every time. So I just kind of like I'm always on YouTube and Instagram and just kind of I'm a visual person that I think a lot of hairstylists are. So once I see things, I feel like I just learned something. So I watch other hairstylists and I talk to other hairstylists and I talk to other people that's not in my field because a lot of things there's things that people are doing or saying and or going on in other fields that's not the beauty industry that can be valuable information to you and me as well. So I think also just having different conversations with people helps me to love what I do still, Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ursula. This has been such a pleasure talking to you. I hope our dream drivers listening in enjoy this as much as I did.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Your questions were really good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that's a wrap for episode 101 with Ursula Stephen. I hope that you enjoyed hearing her dream driving story as well as her keys to success. And if you enjoyed this episode, I really do encourage you to share it with a friend. Now, there are multiple ways that you can share. My favorite way to share podcast episodes that I'm listening to right now is by screenshotting it and just uploading it as an Instagram story. You can also screenshot and upload to Twitter or Facebook. But to do so, you have to make sure you're following us so that you can tag us. Our handle is Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Use the hashtag Dreams and Drive as well if you want to be nosy and see what other people are posting, because I know I do that all the time. Some reminders are to make sure that you are part of our online Dreams and Drive community. To join that, all you have to do is go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. You can also join our Facebook group by going to dreamsanddrive.com/Facebook, or you can just search the Dreams and Drive Mastermind community on Facebook if you're on there right now. So if you're on the email list or you've heard me on previous podcasts, I am currently hosting a Dreams and Drive listener survey where I want to hear what you guys think about the episode. I just want to get some feedback from listeners. And I'm going to be giving away a $25 Dreams and Drive Visa gift card. So yes, it will be a Visa gift card with the Dreams and Drive logo. It'll have your name on it, the whole shebang. If you want to take the Dreams and Drive survey, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/survey. You can fill it out there and you'll be automatically entered for the drawing. Today's show notes, as always, are available at dreamsanddrive.com and by you clicking on episode 101. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I still am on a high from episode 100. I still am just so excited to see what the podcast is going to become in the next few weeks. We have some great podcasts lined up that I know you all will enjoy. I also am going to be doing more solo episodes, so stay tuned for that. Mondays and Thursdays are about to be lit. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 102. Or I should say 102. That's the proper way. Bye, guys.